crisp way that fuzzy comments. That is the advantage of this. We have only doing this path so simple as possible. 2 or 3 rules only. If we introduce more rules, are we improving already? This is the principle of Ockham ratio. We must choose a criteria, but simple, as simple as possible. That is my idea, because we, as an engineer, I know that the things that work are things that are very well explained in a quarter of hour, not taking a lot of rules, studying the possibilities. I don't know. That is the spirit in this initial work. This is an initial work, but I think it is not going very well.
But I mean, following your argumentation, it will be much simpler for every person. You calculate the average and the standard deviation, and using these values, you could say this is high, medium, or low.
In this case,
for one person, you calculate for all his values what is high, what is medium, what is low, in his own terms. But this, to me, is quite confusing, even for a user, because you will say to him, just because today the morning was a peak, this is much higher than the next day. So today was very high, even with 40 watts, but tomorrow with 20, it was much higher. You know?
We are speaking in the summaries. We are always speaking about in the sentence about a period. For instance, this day we are speaking about this specific day, or we are speaking about
you are
this
talking
month.
about the month in general. You are talking about the day. So
not in general. We can do that also.
Basic sentences are always about a day.
Yeah.
Yes, the basic sentences are
And
speaking
then
about
the
specific
quantifiers which are put in front of it, they are all months.
But let's suppose you have 2 sentences for 2 consecutive days. In one sentence you say the consumption is high in the morning, and the next one says the consumption is high in the midday.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you look at the numbers behind this sentence, you see it's backwards. It's totally confusing, because since the maximum and the minimum between the days have changed, the meaning of high have changed from day to day. You have changed the meaning of high. So you cannot understand the same 2 sentences because they have different meaning for the same labels. You know, you have changed the meanings.
You were right, and hypothetically that could happen.
No, it's happening. It's not, it will happen. It's happening because you do this for every day.
I mean, the low consumption is usually defined by a period which has a really large. Let's go back to the first one. This one. Low is usually defined by a period which has a really long base consumption. And the high is the maximum, which is a period which has quite some peaks.
Okay. Albert, go to the table and you have numbers and you will understand what.
That's fabricated by me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, no, go back.
You wanted the table, right?
Yeah.
This one.
No, back. The one that have the numbers of the morning, this one. Okay. So here, high is 40 because this is the maximum.
Yes.
The next day you go to the next one is 136. This is high.
Mm-hmm.
So you really think that the people will understand that one day high is 40 and the next day is 136 high? I don't understand that sentence.
No, this was more to illustrate how there can be quite some differences among different customers.
No, but this it could happen.
And
This could happen from 2 different days.
And
in the same car.
this situation in concrete would be filtered out actually, because it is a difference which is just too insignificant. You are no, they don't receive these numbers.
No, I know they don't receive, but the meaning behind the sentence is totally different
And
from
to a
2
certain degree, yes, you
days.
are right. There always has to be some absolute minimum difference in order to be able to define high and low. But you are right that
But
this
it's
can
not-
be high, but also this can be high. You are right.
So that is what is weird to me, that 2 different days can have high, totally 2 different meanings. That is very weird.
Further question, what do you do with the days? Even if you only send this information, let's go back to the data.
Yeah.
So, if you only send this information, no, what you just showed to Sergio, only this line with the averages, nothing more.
I don't know what you mean.
This one, perfect. Even here, if you only send this data to the customer, you have to explain what means morning, midday, afternoon, and all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this It's a good idea, this fuzzy interval, but probably nobody will understand this.
No, you can send during the morning your
This
average consumption
is
is
what I
30.
meant with you calculate something using a nice technique and a good idea, but it's hard to explain.
Mhm.
And if you say your consumption is high in the morning, everybody wants to know what the morning is.
Yeah, but the idea is to make
I think
some.
nobody wants, because they will use their own meaning for morning. For me,
Yeah, but
morning
then a
is
student and the worker, I mean, the student gets up at 10, the worker gets up at 6.
The
So for them, they
primary,
mean two
primary
different
idea
things.
is that they want some kind of report sent to the customer which gives some impression of, hey, somebody has been looking at my data and he has written some kind of nice report about it. That is a little bit the idea. So
So not the
It
result,
should-
only
no,
the sending.
My interest as a customer is not that. It's to receive instructions of how to reduce my invoice.
well, actually,
This is what is interesting.
yes, and you
Not to tell me these kind of statements that at the end I know very
actually
well.
this
I know
this,
that by the morning my consumption is low, that as soon as the day goes to the I don't know, to the afternoon, it is increasing from the afternoon to 11 o'clock 8 p.m. It is increasing a lot and then decreases. I know very well. What I would like to know as a customer is how I should do to reduce my invoice.
well,
To
actually
pay
the project that we
a
were,
15% less than I pay.
the project that we worked on.
I'm going to expect from the company that is selling.
I know that they are not
So
respecting that to the company.
there's a different group, the union of consumers. They may do the kind
Sure.
of
The company
so
will,
they will send that kind
the
of
company will go to the court with this kind of invoices. Sure. Probably sure. Except if the lawyers impose that, for example, say this is experimental, this is simply an advertisement, I don't know. Sure that the lawyers will impose to the invoices some statements, some cautelous statements, trying to avoid to go to the
That's like the letter is distributed by a computer, that's the way.
yeah.
This study with
Don't believe that.
this work with Hidrocarbonica was also done in part by two groups. Our group, we were more focused on summarizing the data and giving some simple description about it. But there was also another part of it, which was done by Christian Bargoed, and he was doing fuzzy clustering, and he had also questionnaire data of what kind of devices were in the house, what kind of, well, not very useful in practice, but these questionnaires, it seemed. But well, at least he had on paper this data. And also they were more focused on giving advice, as you were saying, because this was all in the context of some kind of project, which is the greenhouse or something like that. So they want to make, the idea is not to make people spend less, but in more favorable outlets.
One thing I think is missing in the summaries is they are too complex in average. I will send much simpler sentences because I will have like a measure of simplicity. Like how many words are you using in the sentence? Is the bigger number of words is more complex for a very average person to understand. 2/3 of the days you consume more during the morning than during the evenings. In summertime, but not in winter time, blah 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 blah.
Yes.
Longer it will be. So I would say even simpler summaries than this one. Like your highest consumption is during the mornings. It's much simpler. Everybody will understand.
What was the problem with the first graphics they used before? I like this graphic with the clock.
Well, they claim that
It's a nice idea to
the
depict all
customers
the
did not understand or could not interpret it really well. They could not interpret from the clock when they were having a high consumption or when they were having a low consumption, or what were the...
I mean, the clock is a little strange.
Too many lines, too many numbers.
Well, these are actually all kinds, these are more than one families actually in this clock. It's also in the title of La Media de las Familias Participantes.
But it will be, I don't know, maybe just a very simple histogram with morning, evening, medium. It will be very clear, you know.